Now, Ernie, I have a technical question for you. The Rachmaninoff piece, do you have that on a YouTube link, or how are you going to send that out? I don't know if we talked about that.
Yes, we did.
We
We'll
did.
be playing that by smartphone.
Through your phone. Okay. I have it loaded on my phone as well, but it would be awkward. Yeah, I'm glad you have it on your.
Sheila's taking care of that.
Okay, good. Good. Well, I think we've got, and I have this wonderful ability to go back. I can go back to the piece in a trice here, which I will. When you all are talking, I'm gone. I mean, I'm here, but I'm not going to be, you're not going to have to look at my ugly mug. So I will be with you when I do my sharing. Oh, I see. I have to ask you twice. Oh, isn't that interesting? I have to ask.
What do you have to ask?
I have to ask the administrator for permission to come back on live video. However, I do it. Oh, it's complicated. Anyway, here I am.
Stay live is the message.
I think Liz is here. I'm going to get myself a splash of water.
You got all kinds of guests, Eric. You should be greeting.
I know I should. I know it. I know it.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, Ernie.
I'll be right back. I gotta do something real quick.
Carol will be here.
Got a cafe for this one.
Catherine, you back in?
There is. How many images?
Hello, Liz.
Hi, Liz. How many
Hello,
images?
Liz. It's Pam.
See?
Pam, hello, Pam. Is Bill
Yeah,
with you?
And
Is
Bill
Bill-
is here with me.
Good.
Bill Carborn.
Hello, Bill.
Hi, Pam and Bill. Well,
Hi,
Bill,
Margaret.
hi, Pam.
Hi, Ernie.
There's
Hi,
Lily.
Pam.
Hi, John Boy, wherever you are. That's the joke.
I'm Jean Source saying hi to everybody.
You know what?
Jean. Hello, Jean.
Look at that.
Liz, how you doing?
Jean, I'm used to hearing your voice on the speakerphone on Charys's telephone.
Oh, I know.
So there were no secrets. I could
Yeah,
just
no
hear you
secrets.
and Charys the whole, no secrets at all between us.
You know what? I
Yes,
just got up from a needed nap and I'm not going to show my face because I haven't combed my hair or put any lipstick on. So I'm
You
going
don't
to
need
listen.
to. We hear your voice.
All having a bad.
Don't feel bad. I don't have any lipstick on either.
Oh, Carol's here too.
There's Keisha.
We have it,
There's
the whole-
Ben.
What they're doing is
Oh, good.
everybody is.
There's Betsy.
they all know
the-
each other.
That little girl.
There's
Is that Lenny?
Eric.
Have you
Yeah.
met Eric?
No.
He hasn't- he-
Oh, you haven't.
Show me this. I want to see.
I think she can hear me. She's waving. Oh, that's great.
Say hi now. You can
Yes.
Hi.
See, they
Oh
all
my
do.
God, look at the gang. Oh,
I
here,
have communicated with Eric because.
Look. all these people. Wow,
we're-
that's great.
Well, I would say that my opinion of her
We're not
long-term
at
care
the
insurance
clock
company
yet.
is they probably popped a cork of champagne when she died.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
So
Maybe
Ernie,
not,
why-
because maybe
why do a preliminary tutorial before we officially do the tutorial, or what do you think?
Who's talking?
I don't
Was
know.
that to me? I'm sorry.
Ordinarily, you can see.
There's,
We
Should
haven't
I-
planned any tutorial, Eric. You're the MC. You decide.
All right. I think as people are joining, I just want to, well, first of all, welcome you all. And it feels and looks like a free for all, but actually we have a plan. And the plan is that that Ernie will open. I guess we've done that. And then I will greet you. And then I will indicate that those of you that want to share, how are they going to tell us that they want to share? How are we going to do that?
we RSVP'd to you.
Well, I know, but I got a basket full of RSVPs. Do I just take them in order? I could take them in order. I could do that. That'd be way to.
That's what I.
All right.
don't know. What do you?
All right. So here's what I have.
He's wanting to know how.
I've only got 4 people. I have Liz and Charys. Linda, Margaret. So this is sort of we did ask, truth be told, Ernie did ask you to indicate if you wanted to share. Now that doesn't prohibit you spontaneously, but otherwise it's going to be a little bit of a free for all. I'm fine with a free for all. I'm okay with that, but
Eric, we can ask people to. Go ahead.
Hi, Pop. Look at this pillow. Gigi made this pillow for me.
Eric, you were muted, so we can't hear you.
It's a beautiful pillow.
Did I just see John Freeman? It's Gracia.
there we are. There's Gracia.
Hi. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Gracia. Good to have you along.
Are you going to be sideways?
I am sideways.
Okay.
That's the way I navigate. I've got eye of my head.
Okay.
This is a very, how shall I call it, improvised on my end. Yeah,
Well,
but I am improvised.
I just
the more
told my daughter-in-law that we're probably going to be Zooming with half the town of Geneva.
Yeah, there's a lot of people joining.
I know.
I have not tried to keep count.
Yeah.
So if you all can hear me, we'll try to have some sort of a logical sequence of people who want to share. As I said, I have currently 4 names on the list. And Ernie, is there a way that people that are muted, can they wave, or can they put something in a chat box, or can they?
All of the above.
Yeah, you can do all of those things.
Well, let's choose one and go with that. What's the protocol? I'll let you choose, Ernie, because you're the administrator, and I'll follow your lead.
Wave. You have the 4. You have the 4 who have RSVP'd. Let's honor the fact they did that. You take that. You announce who comes first, and then after that, free for all.
Okay.
And may I suggest that people look at their taskbar and it says like participants and reactions, and under reactions, they can raise their hand.
Ah.
So it might help people who aren't familiar with Zoom know to somehow bring up that status bar, probably at the bottom.
It is.
And under reactions, there's raise hand. And when you've been asked your question, then you can unraise your hand.
All right.
May I make a suggestion?
Please.
Hi.
Hi.
When you're doing it's a lovely picture, but when you do a screen share, we can't see other people very big. I mean, everybody's
I'm aware of that, and the picture will come down as soon as it starts the proceeding. Thank you.
Oh, I see what we're doing. Okay, thank you, Sheila. Thank you for that. Should we start, Ernie? It's 4 o'clock, huh?
You're the MC.
I think we get underway. So,
people will join.
All right, there we are. I can see most everybody now. If I scroll over, there's Lily. Lots of familiar faces and some somewhat unfamiliar. That's great. Well, I want to welcome you all to
Eric, you're muted.
Sorry.
Unmute.
Oh, yes.
Now I'm frozen. No?
Nope.
Am I?
Nope. Nope, you're not.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can most of you hear me?
We can hear you, Eric. Go ahead.
All right, because I'm looking at my image here and it's frozen solid, but I see a little bit of time delay. So welcome to the celebration of life, Charys Wheeler. We'd like to give a chance, have an opportunity for all of you to say a few words I do know there's going to be a musical tribute, at least one of them. So it's great to have you all along. And I'm going to start out with some personal reflections and realizing that all of our reflections are very personal. But since I'm kind of the leadoff batter here, what I would like to do is maybe grab what I'm going to say less than 5 minutes, and just give kind of a biographical kind of overview, pieces that some of you know and many of you may not know. So I'm going to start at the beginning. My mother was born in 1922 in Racine, Wisconsin, to a third-generation industrialist, Harold Freeman. Her mother's grandfather, great-grandfather, had come over from Wales and England in the early days and developed a company in Racine called Freeman Wheeler. And so I guess you would have to say she was born to an upper middle class cultural existence in Racine. Third of 3 children, an older brother, Charles, an older sister, Laura, and Charys was the youngest of 3, and probably was, had some of the pattern of the caboose child. Sadly, Gracia Jones Freeman died in, I think, 1928. There are Freemans on board here, so someone can correct.
1927.
27. Thank you, Gracia. So mother, she lost her mother when she was like 5. And so when I think of her life, when I think of how she responded to loss and how she responded to setbacks, I think early on she must have developed an amazing coping strategy, because it didn't get any better. The Depression hit, of course, in 1930, and the 3 children were sort of farmed out to family and friends in Racine. And I didn't quiz mother a lot about that, but I think that was a really, really tough time. They had come from fairly comfortable circumstances. Harold lost the Freeman business in the early 30s, lost it in the Depression. He was probably depressed and drinking. A tough time. So by the time they were teenagers, they were, farmed out to different family members in Racine. And then mother was able to, I don't know how that all happened, but she was able to go to college. She went to Earlham College, class of 1944, and majored, she majored in history and philosophy. So here is an 18-year-old Midwestern woman who, goes to this liberal arts college, Quaker Society of Friends, and is exposed to a completely different intellectual world. She's inspired and challenged. And of course, during the war, the Quakers were taking in emigres and expats from all over the world. So she got to know German Jews, she got to know Japanese, she got to know just an amazing array of people. And I think that probably had a huge impact on her. Not a classmate, but a fellow Earlhamite, Haynes Wheeler, graduated in 1947. He was born in 25, so we got a 3-year difference there. They were married in 47, and I was born in 48, and I had 2 brothers, Tim born in 52, and then David born in 57. We were not bad boys, but we were inventive young boys. We got it. I can see mother. She was a great mother and very patient and very tolerant, but I think we were probably a handful. As I say, we weren't bad boys, but we were, I think we gave her some challenges. Anyway, she was a fabulous mother and raised 3 boys. I always felt that, we were kind of, the center of her life. And she was just a wonderful mother. And then sadly divorced in 1966 on her own, went back to college, went to Northern Illinois University, got a degree in library science, and then had a career, a number of years at the St. Charles Library as a reference librarian. How many of you went in to see Charys as a reference librarian in St. Charles? I would imagine, this was a job she was born to do because her interests were so eclectic and so universal, and she would have curiosity about whatever topic it was. So she would investigate it herself as she was looking for reference materials. So I think in some ways that says a lot about how she spent the last 50 years of her life in Geneva, a town that she grew to love. She adored Geneva. She was I wouldn't say a booster, but she definitely was felt very lucky and very gifted and very blessed to be living in Geneva and making an incredible circle of friends, of which I see so many faces out there. Friends that she cultivated and maintained for her life. I think of a few markers here, both kind of emotional, social, and then intellectual. She subscribed in not too terribly long to the basic program at the University of Chicago, which is kind of like a great books program. So she made friends through that. She made friends through the Geneva Learners that Ernie started 20 years ago. Ernie, Geneva Learners, 18, like that. I mean, a long time, a lot of people. Yeah. And so she had this kind of intellectual, and I have to mention, okay, Geneva Learners, bookies, how many book groups? At least 2, and she was in the early bookies. She was in from almost the beginning. And then of course the Frenchies, you could wave your hand, but I know there's Frenchies out there. So this kind of intellectual curiosity and this kind of warm, engaging personality. She just was really happy. She was really happy with her life in Geneva. She had lots of friends. I think it was a very fulfilling life because her family was scattered to the, 4 directions. We were out of Dodge. Tim in California, of course, and David in New York. And of course, sadly lost both of them within the last 20 years. And so, okay, short anecdote, and then I'll wrap. I would come back to Geneva a 3 times a year. And, after Christmas, and invariably she had this wonderful, I think, porcelain bowl on what I'm going to call Allison's desk. Okay. Or Allison's card table. Allison, you know what I mean? And there'd be a stack, a huge stack of Christmas cards. And so as sort of a bonding thing, I would sit down and go through each and every Christmas card that she got. And I would say, Mother, who's this? Oh, I met her when we were in Cappadocia in 1984. And who's this? Oh, she's a bookie. On and on and on. She had literally, I've used this term before, legions of friends, many of you, all of you, of course. So it was like, gosh, Mother, but the deal is here, and this is kind of a life lesson for anyone, is that she cultivated her friendships. She fed and watered her friendships. She intentionally kept connections from Earlham, from Racine, from travels, from bookies, whatever. She kept those friends near and dear. She engaged with them. She listened to them, to you. And, this is Charys. And my last line here, I did a little bit of prep here, and I made some notes. I said these 2 aspects here: her warm, optimistic nature, her open-heartedness, her acceptance, and again that optimism that, in spite of the fact that she lost 2 of her 3 sons to alcoholism, divorced from an alcoholic fellow, my father, loss of her mother when she was 5. She always kept that she was not a Pollyanna, but she looked on the bright side. I don't know what the right term is, but she was just a delight. I traveled with her many times. Thanks to Ernie and Sheila, we visited their little 15th century thatched cottage, just charming little cottage in Wendover, England, a number of times. Traveled with Mother stateside too. She was a great travel companion. I enjoyed talking to Mother. She was bright and interested. And the last piece here on my notes, the intelligence and the curiosity. I think, I remember people would say, oh, your mother's 93. Oh, your mother's 87. Yeah, I think it's curiosity that keeps her going. I think she has curiosity about the world, about her friends, about a lot of stuff. So that's, yeah, I mean, she was, she was mother. She was a real treasure, and a lucky guy I am. And so I want to share the microphone, so to say, with other people. I've gone past my 5 minutes, but thank you for indulging me. And I would say, because I do have some notes here, and I have in order, first off, Liz Safanda. You're up.
You're muted.
I'm muted?
No, Liz is. Liz, unmute yourself, please.
And I'm
Okay.
going,
Good, good, good.
Okay, whoops. All right, before I begin, I need to give a little warning to all of you. There are some words in my little talk in French. So be warned. Bonjour. Over the past decades, Charys and I shared many things. We shared an addiction to good chocolate and authentic Danish Kringle. We shared a commitment to progressive politics. And we went so far as to become Lauren Underwood groupies. We shared a profound appreciation for good journalism, which to both of us was embodied by David Brooks, Blair Kamen, and the late Gwen Ifill, who is on PBS. We shared a reverence bordering, I know you ladies will understand, a reverence bordering on idolatry for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We shared the loss of our dear sons as young men, all too young. And we shared our profound passion for the French language. Through thick and thin, on a daily basis, we shared French bon mots, phrases, jokes, and grammatical puzzles. I vividly remember leaving her hospital room shouting, "Oui, oui," as a very startled nurse headed in. I was simply agreeing with her last parting comment, not referring to bodily function. Oui, oui. At the age of 98, Charys was still doing her French homework, puzzling over tricky conjugations, looking up words in her red dictionary. She referred to me as her belle-fille, her stepdaughter, which I was. She referred to me as her belle-fille, and I addressed her lovingly as belle-mère. She was toujours belle and toujours ma mère. Au revoir, mon ami. Tu ne manquerons chaque jour. We will miss you every day. I would like to share, to close, the words of Edna St. Vincent Millay upon the death of her mother. Her absence is present everywhere. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. And so on the list is Gracia Rankin in San Jose, California. Gracia, are you there?
I am here and I don't know why it doesn't say my name. It says Mac user as if that means something. What?
No idea.
So it's Gracia Rankin and I am Charys's niece. My mom was Laura, the older one. The first thing I want to share is that from the minute I was a little girl, I could tell when Charys called us because mom would say hello and the next word she sounded like Charys, exactly like Charys. She had the accent, and dad and I would look at each other and go, "It's Charys, Charys is on the phone." So mom would always make me go over as a little girl and say hi to my aunt. And just a couple months ago, I called and I love the way she answered the phone. Hello. you know, it's like sometimes I pick up the phone and go, hello, you know, she never did that. So I have a story that some of you will relate to in Geneva. At my mom and dad's 50th wedding anniversary, Jim and I, my husband and I, threw mom and dad a big party, and Charys was there in Palo Alto. And we were in the kitchen, and I had made up a fictitious caterer because my mom was gonna say, no way are you doing the food. So I had to make up something. And as the days got closer to the party, she'd say, Gracia, you need to call the caterers and tell them we need more chairs. And Jim would say, you're gonna have to tell her the truth because she's getting kind of irritable about this. So I did. The party was fabulous, and Charys grabbed me and Jim in the kitchen at one point and she said, do you know who Lou Reed is? And we said, yes. And she said, he kissed me. And we went, what? So you all probably know that Laurie Anderson's mom and Charys were dear, dear friends. And they had gone out to dinner, Lou Reed and the two moms. And when Lou helped Charys get out of the car, he gave her a goodbye kiss. So that's my sweet Lou Reed story with Charys Wheeler. That's all. I miss her.
Thank you, Gracia. Thank you. Next, I have Linda Strong.
Okay, you can hear me?
I can.
Okay. Charys, what a wonderful lady and wonderful friend. To those of us in her French class, who she sometimes referred to as her younger friends, which, you know, was lovely for us to hear, she was inspirational. And as Liz mentioned, we considered her our own personal Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And that was because she was so engaged with life. She was engaged with her family. She was engaged with her friends, with politics, local and national, with preservation and history, exercise. She showed us how to stand tall in the face of adversity. She was a lifelong learner of so many things, as has been mentioned, from book groups to French class. I mean, imagine taking in French at 98 and being the sharpest one in the class, I might add. She was an amazing woman for us to know. For me, importantly, she was also a very kind and loving friend who was an honest friend that I really could have any kind of discussion with. Charys is one of the few people who knew my mother. She would tell me stories about her, and if she found an old recipe of Mom, she would give it to me and share it. And what a special gift that was, that she would take the time to do that. That goes to what you were saying, Eric, about just really having each of her friends feel special. Charys was someone that I could trust absolutely in every respect. I loved her and I'll miss her.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Margaret, are you ready? Did you hear me? Can she hear me?
You're muted, Margaret, muted.
Yeah, I don't hear Margaret. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You're muted. Okay, now can you hear me?
There you are.
Can you hear me now? I
Yep.
feel like
Yes.
the ever-ready battery. Okay, well, I have a little short music segment. It's Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but I wanted to make a couple comments about Charys first before I play it. It's the rendition. It's a rendition that's done by the Piano Guys, and if you have never heard of the Piano Guys, I highly recommend that you listen to them. It's just a guy playing the piano and a guy playing the cello. And I like this selection a lot, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to bring it up, but so if I don't, please listen to it, because when I look at that picture of Charys, that beautiful picture that was taken 20 years ago, and I see that smile on her face, This is an upbeat version of Over the Rainbow. It's not a sad version. And so when I see that picture of Charys, that's what I think of. I don't want to be real redundant of what everyone has said, but obviously we all love Charys so much. And the best way I can describe her, which I think you all have said in your own way, is that she was a one-of-a-kind person. And I wasn't part of the French group or book group or any of the groupies. I was just like this friend on the side. But I heard all these really, I know all of you maybe better than you think I know, because Charys always said such wonderful things about you. And it just I always took it to heart. And I was just so amazed by her that, as Eric said, she graduated from college in 1944. She was blessed with a great group of friends. She was fun. She and I went shopping together sometimes. She had a great sense of humor, and Eric kind of said that she never complained. She had a great positive attitude, and that attitude, I think, was a key to what she really was, and what attracted us to her. I guess my best send off, well, I mean, Charys will always be in my heart, but I feel very fortunate to have been her friend. And I'm sorry to get so emotional, but she was a huge friend and very much a mentor in my life. And I loved her sincerely. So with that, now that I've shown my tears, I'm going to try to bring this up. I promise I won't play the whole thing. Oh, wait, here it is. Wait, I think I got it. Okay, I have to go to Pandora now. I am at Pandora. Just love this search. Okay, over there. There it is. If I can't get in the next 10 seconds, you can throw me off of here. Well, let's go on. Look it up. Look up the piano guys. Listen to Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and think of Charys. Okay.
Thank you.
Margaret, we can add this to a follow-up to everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
Here I am back from Athens. So I just did a quick count here. There's 40 plus people, because in some panels there's at least 2, and I know at least in one of them there's 3. There's another great grandchild. Ben has disappeared. I saw Elliot for like 10 seconds. So Elliot's here, great grandson, and Letty is here. There's Letty. She waved earlier. There she is.
Hi.
And we might even see Willa. So anyway, having said that, having tipped my hat to the great grandchildren, who's next? Raise your hand. Like we're in 3rd grade now. Raise your hand if you want to talk.
And Eric, while we're waiting for people to talk, Kevin Burns is on, and he said that Charys was indeed a City of Geneva booster, and we are better because of her passion and engagement. Thank you, Kevin.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for that clarification. She adored Geneva, and she spoke for Geneva, and she spoke for historic preservation. And I know a number of you have been collegial with her in that. And I will mention it at the end, but as you're summoning your courage or whatever, if you are so inclined, there are 3 organizations that we would encourage you, if you'd like to make a memorial contribution to the Geneva History Museum. Terry's here. Terry, can you hear me? You wave? so people know who you are? Because it just says Geneva History Museum. There's Terry.
Hi, everybody. Yes, thank you. We're very honored that Charys chose us as one of her organizations to be remembered. We are receiving some messages and some wonderful donations. And Eric, we look forward to seeing you in about a month or so. And Charys will be one of our cardinals on the wall, leaving her legacy with the museum. So we're very honored. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. And the preservation partners of the Fox Valley, also on the list. And Lauren Underwood for Congress. Liz, did you find the picture of Mother with Lauren? Did you manage to find that?
But I did not find it, but we went to a fundraiser at Niche. Linda Strong brought Charys as a guest, and it was for her first campaign. And so I have this stunning picture, which I will try to locate and send to people, of Charys and Lauren. So you have these amazing contrasts. You have young, very young, old, you have black, you have white, but then you have between you have beauty and you have intelligence. So it was all there in that picture. I'll send it. I'll find it.
Great. So Ernie, would you say something about, I don't want to put you on the spot, I just have, about this website where we can collect photographs and memories and so forth? Is that, how would people do that? How would people participate in that?
Well, I'm thinking we should for sure send a follow-up to everyone who was invited. And in that follow-up, we'll have the 2 music selections, which we had difficulty playing too, Margaret.
Right.
And we can have the picture, Liz, please. That'd be lovely. And then put it all together on a website at the end that we would send to the same list of people and to be forwarded as they choose. So there'll be plenty of opportunity. There is a recording here. We're doing of this. That would be included as well.
Thank you, Ernie. Okay, so any other sharings? Charys?
Hi, Eric.
Eric, this is Kevin Burns, if I may.
Kevin,
Yes,
welcome.
sir.
Welcome.
I'd like to ask your permission, if I may, to begin tomorrow night's city council meeting with a moment of silence to honor Charys. If you don't object.
No, not at all. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I also just want to say this, that when Charys used to call me, it was always a little bit of intimidation. I wasn't certain if I did something wrong or was about to be scolded or what, but it was always a pleasant, beautiful, and obviously very engaging conversation. So.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Yeah. Eric, I would like to say a few words, if I may.
Bill, I recognize your voice. Where are you? There
Yes.
you are.
Yes. Can you hear me, Eric?
I can, indeed.
Would this be a good time to say a few inadequate words?
You're up. You're up.
Oh, that's great. I'm Bill Carlblum, a retired school teacher, and was privileged to be a friend of Charys and the Wheeler family. And these are just very inadequate words of mine in memory of Charys. A famous contemporary philosopher recently said in a radio interview that our most important gift as human beings is to help each other get through life, and simply at the end to have been a blessing. To be and to have been a blessing. Such a wise observation. Charys Wheeler was a blessing in my life for 47 years, since we first met in 1974, when I was looking for a bachelor room to rent as a first-year school teacher at Geneva High School, where eventually Mayor Burns and Terry were my former students, but they taught the class. Over those 47 years, Charys was always a steady, calming, and reassuring presence in my life in every situation. Charys was so much fun to be with because she was always excited about life and the next adventure that was coming around the next corner. It could be a car trip with her lady friends, Kathy and Caroline and Sally, to visit Emily Dickinson's family home in Amherst, Massachusetts, or a rigorous overseas trip to Turkey, where Charys brought back a fancy Turkish rug, which she never stopped enjoying. Or of course, Eric, any family gathering with her 3 sons, or a local Geneva party with Milt Botterill and the gang, or a Fermilab lecture, or a discussion group at the Geneva History Center with Ernie, or simply the joy of making a new friend or keeping in touch with an old one. Charys was truly a Renaissance woman, as our wonderful Eric has already written about. And Charys was an empathetic and caring friend to all of us. Finally, we all love Charys as a friend who was so appreciative of any favor or visit or gift that she received. It was always a grateful phone call the next day, or a handwritten thank you note in your mailbox at week's end. Who does this anymore? You love doing things for Charys, and she returned your attention. In closing, Charys was truly a blessing in our lives, and memories of her life will continue to bless us throughout the coming years.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Just parenthetically, Mother outlived her cohort in Geneva. She was the last one. She outlived her cohort in her family of origin and her friends in Geneva. And I think what you're reflecting on and what we can see here today is that she embraced the young, a new young cohort, and was as loyal and dependable and engaged with her young friends as she was with her cohort. And that says a lot about her personality. And I hope I want to emphasize that she got cards and letters because she wrote cards and letters. And it was, so she really understood this dynamic of friendship, of family, and engagement with humanity. She figured it out and practiced it. So thank you for reminding me of that, Bill. Other sharings. The floor is open.
Eric?
Yeah.
This is Becky Troth.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this and inviting me. My mother and Charys were best friends for about 85 years. My mother was Charys's step aunt. So my mother's sister married Charys's father, and Charys and my mom became great friends, and I think best friends for all of my mother's life. And we'd see Charys over the years on various occasions. She came out to San Francisco to visit me and her sister Laura. She came to my wedding, and I remember we went out to South Dakota together for my dad's 90th birthday. And Charys was simply remarkable. The fact that she was interested in everything, and that she was so gracious and so kind. I just don't think we're going to see the likes of a Charys again. I loved her very much, and will miss her dearly.
Thank you, Becky. And if I could just add a piece here that maybe we'll see on the website. Let's do that. There I am. Becky, correct me if I'm wrong. Your aunt and her husband started a mountain retreat in the Smoky Mountains near Gatlinburg. And my mother and father honeymooned there. And I think I got it from the website. I actually visited the resort, and there were photographs from the time period that Haynes and Charys Wheeler were there. And there is a photograph, or actually there are a couple photographs, but there's one photograph in particular of mother in a bathing suit over by the pool or the pond. And Ernie, that's going to go up on the website. Okay, I'll get that to you. And there's a picture of my father, being kind of this rugged outdoorsman with a bow and arrow. It's really, I don't know, they were 20, mother must have been what, 25 and dad was 22, something like that. Anyway, so thank you, Becky, for bringing in the Hogan part of the family, because mother adored your mother, and Bev and Jack, she would talk about Bev and Jack are doing this, or Bev and Jack have sent me this. So very, mother was very attentive to family as well as to friends. Okay. By the way, I want to shout out another great grandchild made an appearance and then disappeared. So I wanted to acknowledge Willa. There's Elliot. By golly, hi Elliot. How you doing, bud? All right, there he is.
Marilyn and David Balder are asking to speak.
All right, well, there's Willa. Okay, that's all three great grandchildren have made an appearance. Thank you, Ben and Betsy, and Willa and Elliot and Letty. Thank you. All right, so Marilyn, where are you?
Hi,
We're
we're here.
All right, very good. You have the mic.
I'll speak first. I actually met Charys through church. She was Episcopalian, so was I. We attended Calvary Episcopal Church in Batavia. And early on, when we were both going, I was what was called a 10 o'clocker because I had children, and that's when Sunday school was. And Charys was an 8 o'clocker, so I didn't really know her. And then when my children grew up and flew away, I became an 8 o'clocker. Now, it might surprise some of you who know me to learn that I'm not really a coffee hour type of person, but I am a duty-driven person, and I felt one morning after 8 o'clock service that I really should do my duty and go to coffee hour. And there I found Charys Wheeler, who definitely was a coffee hour kind of person. And before I knew it, we were talking, and our friendship really began there. And the other thing I'd like to share is sort of my final memory of Charys was going over to her home, and nothing in a way had changed. There was Charys, there was a book on the table between many books, her latest book that she was reading on the table between us. There was her welcoming smile and her delight in seeing me, which I never felt that I had earned, but was so genuine. I was so grateful for that. And there was also the view out into nature, into that beautiful, beautiful backyard, I guess you call it, that she so loved, and I loved seeing whenever I came over. And really, I always asked myself, how could someone in their 80s, then they're 90, how could someone stay 21 years old? It was that lovely, almost girlishness of her that was also part of her, along with her intellectual depth, all the things that people have mentioned. So we'll miss that, but certainly will always be a part of me.
Yeah. Okay, well, I have to explain how I got to know Charys, and it's because of religion. So that's a really good thing. The year I retired from teaching French, David must have let it slip during coffee hour that I had been a French teacher. So Charys actually called me and asked if I would have a little French group with her and Janet Safanda. And I thought, okay, that'll be fun. And so that's how this whole 17-year-old journey began. And it was so delightful. You know, as everyone says, she might have been 98 chronologically, but she was my age. She was 21. She just always, you know, I admired her positive attitude because she had so many sad things in her life as well as happy things. So she just brought such lightness to our group, and she was the best student. No offense to anyone else, but you know, that woman had her homework done every week, and she was well prepared. She told me if she couldn't sleep at night, she would conjugate verbs. Now, who does that? So anyway, we're really sad to have lost her, but what joy she gave to all of us all of those years. Okay.
Oh, Eric, may I add something here?
And Eric, you're muted. Unmute yourself, please. Go ahead, Liz.
Okay, I just wanted to segue with Marilyn. You know, we lost two really amazing women in the last 6 months. We lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg and we lost Charys. And you know what they represent to us? They represent the absolute gold standard of civility and standards and appreciation of justice and appreciation of what's right. And to me, it was always, I mean, the minute Carl and I were eating dinner and heard that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had died, I just raced to the phone and called Charys. And, you know, she could hardly talk. And so, but they're both have left this legacy. So while they're gone, of course, they're with us. They're with us in so many ways, in so many ways. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for the background on the Frenchies. So the Frenchies began at Calvary Episcopal in Batavia. I didn't know that. That's great story, Balds. Thank you for filling in that
Eric,
blank.
I think Marjorie is wanting to say something.
Oh, Marjorie, where are you, Marjorie? Are you there? You're
Could you
in.
unmute yourself, Marjorie, please.
What time is it, Marjorie, in your neck of the woods? Where are you?
She's still trying to unmute.
Unmute yourself, please.
Is she way over here?
Marjorie, you need to unmute.
I can't, I don't see her.
She's on the second screen, Eric.
Second screen, okay, towards the middle?
Trouble unmuting. Let's just give her a moment.
All right. Marjorie Creek, right? Must be. And I don't see her. Oh, okay.
There's Marjorie's iPad, but she's unable to.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
ask her her thoughts and add that to the communication that gets sent around.
Oh, yeah, and we'll maybe be able to circle back. Okay, so floor is open again. Hands up or just voice or how wave. Thank you for being the gatekeeper, Sheila, because I'm not able to see everything that's going on here at the moment. Who's next? Oh, okay.
Mute. Okay.
Who's next? Oh, there's Margaret. I saw her. There she is. Hi, Marjorie. How are? What time is it in Toowoomba?
10 to 9 or about 8:45 in the morning. And
AM.
I have a
Uh-oh.
Monday. Good Monday. It's the 1st of March. And today's temperature will be about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just so you know. Anyway, I want to add to a lot of people's talk, but with the loss of Charys is also my loss of Geneva, and the fact that my 4 grandparents lived there and within a block of each other, and the stories that I have with that, and being able to wander around and to go repeatedly to the Geneva History Museum, etc., will be a loss, but doesn't matter. I can always stay and visit anyway. One thing I'd like to say about Charys, other than all those nice things, and here's a bit of a funny, after seeing some photos that Mom and Dad had, when Mom and I were going through photos, I said, "You had such beautiful long legs," to Charys one visit. And she said, "They got me into more trouble than they were worth." And I hope you're laughing. Thank you, Ernie. But you know, your view of Mom and Dad, your Mom and Dad, Eric, at in Smoky Mountains and by the and the pool. And I was seeing these pictures of Charys at Oak Beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the best to everybody. It's lovely to hear and to remember, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Marjorie. And I see another hand raised. Philip, are you on? Are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Philip.
Awful good to see everybody and hear the kind words. My cousin Gracia Rankin, when she said how Charys would answer the phone with a hello, and I mean, oh my gosh, was that true? And so I'm a nephew. My dad, Charles Freeman, Charys's older brother, he died way too young, not quite 60, more than 40 years ago. But he absolutely adored his little sister. You know, I know my sister's on here, my brother John too. So my sister Gracia Freeman. So we always just loved and cherished. And, you know, being the next generation, younger people, you know, in many ways, I think we just thought she was just so kind, you know, but it, you know, I'm so glad to hear the calls to Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her spirit kind of thing, because I always thought of her as like kind and gentle, yet always informed and quite resolute. You know, she was no pushover on things, but she was always polite, you know, and she would never be rude, you know, and that was just among the things that I just knew so were so essential to her character. And I'm so glad that people that she'd gotten to know, you know, because I know as somebody gets into their 90s, I mean, they've lost their peers due to just time. And so it's so wonderful to see that she meant a lot to others. So anyway.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip.
I'm not seeing any other hands, Eric, so I would just invite people to unmute and speak up if they have some comments that they'd like to make. And I know, Eric, you have some closing remarks you want to make too.
I do, in fact. But I don't think we're quite there yet, although coming up on it.
I just have a quick thing about Charys getting in trouble with her legs. Every time we would travel to see my cousins, Eric and David and Tim and my Aunt Charys, we would gather somewhere and we'd be getting ready to go do something. And my dad would say, well, there she goes. And Charys would have taken off walking fast. She was a very fast walker. So that's just my little leg remembrance.
So I have a remembrance of Charys, her physical attributes. Well, two of them. One is I remember my uncle Dell, who was a colonel in the Army. I don't know what prompted him to say this, but he talked about what Charys looked like as a young woman, and said how gorgeous she was, and she had this beautiful peaches and cream complexion. And he was saying this, you know, 40, 50 years later, but he remembered that so well. The other thing I remember is when we went out to my dad's 90th birthday, Charys was talking about how she stayed in shape. And this was probably 8 years ago, about then. So she was in her late 80s or 90. And so she got down on the living room floor and demonstrated how she could do a push-up. We were all very impressed.
Thank you, Becky. Say, I'm gonna spin off on Marjorie's comment about Marjorie's had to endure her cousin Eric's Wheeler family architectural walking tour. There's a number of Genevans on board here, and it's just a suggestion. I just counted up, there are a half a dozen Wheeler Pope houses still standing, quite architecturally diverse, from a Greek revival to an English Tudor to an Italianate, associated with the Wheeler Pope family. And Terry, it's just an offer, with the help of Margaret and you, we could put together a Wheeler Pope architectural walking tour if you're so inclined. Just a spot. Okay, so the floor is open, Ernie. And am I seeing any waves? Have I acknowledged? I can't acknowledge everyone. Oh, Lily, I hear you. I see you anyway. I don't hear you yet. So we have to unmute Lily. Is that possible? Does she have to unmute herself? Sheila, help us out.
Yes, you have to.
There we go.
There we are. There's Lily. Uh-oh.
Lily, you're unmuted, but your volume must be down. We can't hear you.
We see you.
We're not hearing you.
Oh, that's too bad.
Is your volume on your computer down?
Yeah, we can't hear.
I'm sorry.
Well, I will, if I could, I will introduce Lily here briefly. Lily lived with Mother for the last 4 and a half. There we are. Are you back? Oh. Lily was Mother's caregiver, just an absolutely delightful woman, big heart, a protector. Can you see? She has protector energy about her, and she adored Mother and took care of her down to the last. So Lily, big thanks. You were just absolutely godsend to us. You did a wonderful job, and Mother really, really appreciated you every moment. Thanks again. I just wanted to send that out to you. All right. Okay, friends and neighbors.
Woo, Eric?
Liz, yep.
I have to tell an old time story.
Sure.
My uncle Chuck is 91. He's the only surviving person in that generation of my family. So he's the youngest uncle, and I'm the oldest in my generation. And he told me this story a couple of years ago. He was on the train from Chicago commuting to Geneva, and there was Haynes Wheeler with Charys, and they weren't married yet, and they're on the train. And I'm guessing that my uncle's 91, so he's about 7 years younger than Haynes and Charys. And he gets on the train and he goes, "Oh crap." He said, "How did Haynes snag that babe? That's impossible. How did he? Haynes Wheeler has got that babe." And he told this story. I mean, it just, I did tell Charys the story. I told her. It was great. It was great. So there was the view. So Charys was probably, before they were married, my uncle was probably 17 or 18, and they were probably 24. But oh boy,
yeah,
he had his eyes on her.
Yeah. Hey, I have not heard that story.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Eric,
Well,
Eric,
yeah.
This is Pam.
Oh, Pam, there you are.
Yeah, I hadn't intended to speak, but
please.
No one mentioned Blair Kamen, and I think
yeah,
we need to talk about that.
That's yours.
Yeah, Charys and I shared a great interest in architecture, and there was a critic at the Tribune by the name of Blair Kamen, who has left recently. And here's Charys at the age of 98, wrote him an email and said, "You know, you're going to be so missed." And he replied, and this happened, maybe a couple of weeks before she died. And she was so taken with that she had been able to communicate with him. The other thing I want to say is to Gracia. Gracia, I know you made a collage for her birthday, and that meant so much to her, and I have it now. Okay, so it's mine. Okay, and Marjorie, hello to Australia. Thank you for all your letters. I hope we can keep in contact. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you. And the Blair Kamen correspondence will go up on the website, right, Ernie? I'll get that to you.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Well, every week I get a clipping sent out to my mailbox in Portland, Oregon, and another Blair Kamen. We didn't always agree with him, but what was really fun was to engage with Mother and critique some of the aspects of his of his critique. Yeah, I would have to say that Mother inspired me for what I have discovered in the last 20 years to be my life's work as an architectural historian. And there's this sort of this osmosis I picked up. I mean, I grew up in historic Geneva. I grew up on 5th and Franklin. That was my home. So without my knowing it, I think it just became embedded in my DNA. So, and Mother and I have talked about it. She was truly an inspiration on many levels. We do want to, before we close out here, I guess by my clock, it's 4 minutes to, in my time zone, 3 o'clock. It would be 5 o'clock, I believe, Ernie, in the central time zone. So any last comments? Seeing none, I will just again remind people of the 3 beneficiaries of any memorial donations: the Geneva History Museum, Preservation Partners of the Fox Valley, and Lauren Underwood for Congress. So, tricky thing here before I'm going to thank everyone. Just great to see you all. Thanks so much for dealing with media, which I have been rather unkind to. I am not a Zoom guy. I won't say I'm anti-Zoom, but I am definitely struggling. And I have, truth told, I did 2 lectures on Zoom yesterday. So I spent 5 hours in front of this screen. So I'm getting used to it. It's okay, I can deal. But anyway, thank you all for dealing and for sharing. And I acknowledge the grandchildren, Ben Wheeler and Betsy Wheeler. There's Ben and Betsy. There's Betsy. Thank you. And the great-grandchildren. There's Letty. And yeah, I know, Ben. They're off and running. Oh, Ben.
Eric,
Letty wants
Eric,
to.
Wayne Woltman would like to say something.
Oh, we have Wayne. Okay.
There's so many happy memories. We've heard so many happy memories today that how fortunate a person could have a life like that to be remembered, as Charys says.
Yeah.
My best memories, and I don't go back like most of you folks do, but the Geneva Learners owed her so much for the times that she was present. And the Geneva Learners is an exceptional group. I'm sad that because of the pandemic that we've got so much restriction now on this stuff, but we had so many good meetings. A big table in the History Center, 4 sides of that table. She's sitting across the way, and everybody wanted to hear, every time she was there, everybody would like to hear what Charys's views were on things. She brought so much Geneva into focus for us that she'll be remembered forever. And I'm just looking for ways that we can memorialize her. I hope for her what she gave to this community. We owe so much, and Ernie knows. Ernie goes back a long time. He was right there, the ringleader of that group, and it was an exceptional group. I miss it every time that we can't get together now. We do it virtually, but we don't do it the same way it used to be.
Thank you, Wayne. Say, I saw a grandchild waving her hand. Where is she?
Oh,
hi, Letty's right here, and she wanted to share something. Go ahead.
This is a blanket, and Gigi gave this to me.
Oh, she did. That's from Gigi, from great grandma. That's wonderful. I seem to have lost my big screen. So thank you, Letty, for sharing. Thank you all for showing up and participating just by opening up your Zoom screen. Thank you so much. Big shout out, big thank you to Ernie and Sheila for making this happen, coaching me, putting up with my with my ineptitude. So it was just a delight for me to hear from you all. And in closing, a short memory and then some music. Now, Ernie, you've got the music up and ready, so you can cue it.
We do.
We're good.
Okay, so early memory. Downers Grove, Illinois, 1953, 54, 55. father working at Argonne National Laboratory, came back to live in Illinois after finishing grad school at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, where I was born. My birth certificate is Providence, Rhode Island. I must have been 6 or 7, and mother is doing the house cleaning, and she's whistling a melody. And I'm getting chills and I might cry. But the melody is Rachmaninoff's Rhapsody on a theme by Paganini number 18. And every time I hear it, it's mother. And maybe you will resonate with it. But I wanted to close with this recording. It may sound very tinny and very whatever, but you'll recognize the melody. And I thank you all. And we treasure the memories and the opportunity to be in Charys's life. Thanks again. Thanks again. Thank you. Thanks again. Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, Ernie.
Well done, Eric.
Yeah, well, it was my pleasure. You made it happen. You made it
Really
happen.
Wonderful tribute. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Thanks again.